Yo, how you pronounce your name?
Jerel?
Jerel. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Yeah. So we're ground voices. Raina's always looking for inspiring stories, or something that sometimes is entertaining, or anything profound. Something that our audience would like to tune into, have conversations and dialogue about. So she told me about you, and I was like, yeah, let's definitely chop it up. So your situation, you're co-parenting right now, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, so how does that work? Is it like every other day, every week, weekends? Like, can you break that down?
Yeah, sure. So that's essentially Thursdays through Sundays. So I pick them up Thursday at noon. I drop them off Sunday at noon. And then I get the first weekend off per month.
Okay, and he's 10.
No, no, he's extremely young. He's 2 years and 4 months.
Okay, but the relationship is 10 years old.
Yes, yes. 10
Gotcha,
years old, 8.5 years of marriage.
got you, got. And was this like the love of your life?
Um,
Ooh, that
if you would
pause.
ask, if you would have asked me this a few years ago, I would have said yes. But with more reflection, I think I have some time to find that love of my life.
Okay, but you know how sometimes when we're in it, that's how it feels. But when we out of it, and we look back, we say that it wasn't that. So it's like, which one is the truth? Because right now there could be resentment, so you're looking at it from a whole different scope. You get what I'm saying?
I do, and I feel like I've had more love for girlfriends along the way, or before or after, than I've had for her.
Wow.
When I really look back at it, because you know, one of the biggest mistakes I made was not being a whole person before I got married, and getting married with like unresolved trauma. And what happens is you find someone that fits your wounds. But as you grow and you develop and those wounds close, there's not really room for that person to fit anymore. So it's like, getting married in a state of depression, getting married during a recession or based on an ultimatum, there's no way I can say that that was the love of my life.
Okay, so but y'all was able to hold it down for, you said 8 years was for the marriage, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what kept y'all together for that long, just in that marriage?
Yeah, so I would say ego and uh, laziness and comfort, complacency. So when you love someone, you kind of let them slide with a lot. And I was definitely going through a lot when we first got married. Peak recession. Had a degree from Vanderbilt, and I should have been making real good money, but one of my hiring managers told me that he can get people like me on discount. So that's kind of like where we were at that time. So being able to take my salary and multiply it by 5 over the years, my ego said, "Oh, she don't have to work. She could chill. She don't really got to do much. I got this." Like, that made me feel good. So that was part of why it lasted that long, because it benefited me on one of my insecurities. And then also, like, she's really big into appearances, so you love that person, so you want to kind of abide by their social norms and their family norms. So I didn't want to bail and mess up her, I guess, Facebook flow or her IG flow or whatever, with the trips and the dinner she would post. So I just kind of stuck in it.
Or would you say that, because when you met her, you was making you was making a certain amount of money? So would you say it's fair that she helped you, she was in the gym, helped you to get to get into where you were financially secure? Would you say she was helpful in that?
Yeah, if I was keeping it 100, when I met her, I was in a loft in Bushwick, paying like $3 grand a month, and I just couldn't afford that. So I was hustling my ass off every month, trying to make that money. I ended up, I guess the best metaphor for this is like, I was on her phone plan when I met her. So
Okay.
she was definitely in the gym. And I think that that's a big, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's a big part of the reason why I stayed so long, because I felt indebted. I felt like, yo, I don't know if anyone truly loves me for me, because now I have money. But she was with me when I was still shooting in the gym, so I need to stick around despite the fact that I'm not happy, and that's not healthy either.
Okay, but right now you don't think, after the divorce, you don't think it's fair what the government is asking from you to give to her?
You just need to let me know if I can curse on this or not.
Hell yeah!
Fuck no. Fuck no. Like, what I pay in alimony and child support is more than my mortgage. Just let that sink in. It's ridiculous. So essentially, they look at what you make, they look at what your spouse makes, determine who's the breadwinner based on the delta between the two and the amount of time that you were together. They calculate how much you should pay per month and in how long. So I explained to her that the numbers that they were throwing out there, this is back when we had a mediator, that it would cripple me, that I'd be bankrupt, that I would lose the property that is part of my son's inheritance. And her pain caused her to push forward. So I had to actually file ahead of her, and I'm right now I'm paying $28.50 all together for alimony and child support. But if I didn't pull the trigger, I'd be paying $34.50. And she also wanted a car, and she also wanted an apartment. So I'm actually doing better than I could have been doing.
So you said 2050, as in 2,500?
$2,850 per month.
A month. So that's for alimony and child support. Okay, and like, is she asking for more?
She wanted more before that when we were dealing with the mediator. So I'm
Gotcha.
for these $450 mediator sessions, and she wants $34.50 a month. She wants a car. She wants an apartment, and which is just completely unrealistic.
Wait, hold on, bro. Let's slow down. So she wants you to pay. No. You good. I'm just trying to get this picture. So she wants this $34.50 separate from a car, and a whole rent being paid for her in an apartment.
100%.
Bro, you're fucking with me right now. This is somebody you was with for 8+ years, 10 years altogether.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So this is somebody who didn't have a grasp of the money, right? Didn't understand. Like, she would ask for things, and it just seemed out of pocket. So I said, okay, listen, Mike, I feel like you're too far from the bag. So this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna keep a ledger, okay? And every month, you're gonna look at all the bills, and you're gonna tell me how much money we need to pay the bills, and I'm going to throw that into the joint bank account, and you're going to pay the bills with the money I earn. And that way, that's going to bring you closer to the money. It's going to make you appreciate how much money's coming into this house, and it's going to make you understand what's happening. So it's not like she's unintelligent. It's just that she doesn't understand or care, really. Maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she's hurt. But she doesn't care that this is like a bankruptable amount of money. And she sees my family as her piggy bank. So she's like, well, if he don't have it, I know his dad has it. So it's really about, like, this is the last score, I guess. This is the last opportunity she has to really be in my pocket. So she climbed in that shit and stood up. And now I sit and I do these virtual court hearings or whatever you call them, with a bunch of, like, and I'm not being racist here, but I just need to kind of call shit out how it is. You got two black faces, everyone else is Italian and Jewish, and everyone on that call is in my pocket. The lawyers are in my pocket. I'm paying her legal fees. I'm paying my lawyer's legal fees. And, I don't think I'm paying the judge directly, but that's the situation we're in now, where, the money, the money that she's accustomed to having access to, now she needs to secure it for herself over these next 3 years.
The alimony's for 3 years.
Yeah, because that's a calculation. I don't quote me on this, but
okay.
I believe it's like a third of the length of the marriage.
Got you. Okay, but at one point in time, you did tell her to stop working because you was gonna take care of her.
So she lost a series of jobs back to back.
Okay.
The first one she lost because it was a retail job. She picked up one of those store credit cards where, somebody had, $50 on their card and dropped it. She tried to spend it. She got fired for theft. So it was just like a really simple, stupid thing. Fine, no problem. After that, it was getting let go for tardiness or getting let go for lack of effort. And after all, I'm like, look, this ain't working out. I don't know. She's like, I don't want to do a 9 to 5. I'm like, baby, that's cool. Like, let's figure out what you're interested in. So she's interested in sewing. So I bought a sewing machine, thread, material, courses, built her a website. Didn't really pan out. She's into design. Bought her a computer. Bought her like whatever she showed interest in, I invested in because this is my woman, and I want her to flourish. And not everyone is built for 9 to 5. And then eventually down the road, she got pregnant. So I was supportive of her not having a traditional job. I was making enough money. What I was making in Nashville is definitely a very comfortable lifestyle. I'm back in New York now, and that's not the case. But I did create a rest haven, so my bad.
Oh, so is she in New York? In New York as well?
Yeah. When I saw things were dissolving, this is peak COVID. Our son was born peak COVID, and things had just already hit the shitter. And I'm like, I don't think this family's going to stay together. The least I could do is carry her back to her family. So I got you. All back up north. We had to stop in Virginia for a little bit to stay at her sister's. But eventually got us all back up north. And then, had this massive renovation project. I was going to move us all in there. But we had to wait for it to be done. COVID slowed the licenses and everything down. So I stayed with my mother for a while, and that's where things really dissolved further. And then she moved in with her mother, and we were legally separated at that point.
Okay. What's y'all's age difference?
1 year.
1 year. Okay. So it's somebody that should be able to relate to you and what you're experiencing as well.
100%. Yeah,
okay.
It should be.
Because if you was like 35 and she was like 22, I'd be like, shit, nigga, what else you expect,
Right. This is a grown person, and it's really interesting. And I'm not gonna say where she's from, but it's a strange experience I've had talking to men and women once I filed for divorce, because the first thing they ask is where she's from. And they say, is she from blank? And she is. So it's weird that like 5 to 6 different people called out her country as if there's some norm from that country of women. When they go into divorce mode, they go for blood. So
now you gotta say it now.
I can't do it.
You can. Oh, what the?
I don't want to perpetuate a stereotype, but I do think it's funny that even men and women from her culture were like, is she one of us? And I said, yeah. They're like, oh.
All right. So let's do continent wise. Can we do continent?
I'm Caribbean. It's in the Caribbean.
Okay.
That's all I can do.
That's all you can do? Okay. All right. We gonna let the people.
I don't need them coming for me either.
Okay. We gonna let the. Is she light skinned with curly hair?
We gotta move on. With a whole race of people.
Okay. All right. So Peep, I got you. But all right. So Peep. So where did you go wrong? Let's talk about you.
Oh man, so many places. Getting married off of an ultimatum. Like I knew that. I'm sitting working at a call center at City University of New York during the daytime. At night, I'm working at a liquor store. As a cashier, I smell the dead rats in the ceiling. That's just a very disgusting smell that's burned into my nose. And I'm like, I need to move to Nashville. Like, that's where my degree's worth weight. And I said, I want you to come with me. And she said, well, I'm not coming with you unless we're married. And I said, well, I'd marry you. And she said, okay. That was a proposal. So it wasn't no kind of romantic, situation where there was flowers and music and shit. It was like, yo, I'm not moving with you unless you marry me. I'm like, all right, fine, that's cool. So that's the first place where I went wrong. Second place I went wrong is not really knowing myself, knowing what I wanted, not doing the mirror work, the internal work to really understand who I am. Because when you understand who you are, you understand what you need and what you need. I didn't do that. And the third big mistake I did, and this one is going to spin off the whole other tangent, I promise you. Not realizing how important sex was to me. Like, I thought that, and I got married, like, I think I was like 30. I thought that I was maturing to a point where sex is not, it's not that important, you know? I'm about to be grown, you know, we're about to move in together, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm cool. But it turns out it's pretty fucking important. And I didn't realize this, but she has some, let me be very careful with my words here. I'll just go for the facts. I found out after we got separated that 1 year into the marriage, she went to my mother and said she has a problem with her libido. She doesn't have a desire for sex. My mother told her, that's a problem. My son is very sexual. That's weird as fuck that my mom had to tell her that her son's very sexual. But, you know, I'm asking for just like, can we have sex 2 to 3 times a week? You know, can I have some head? Like, you know, like, can I get my lap wet? You know, like, because these bills is paid and the motherfucker, like,
talking shit.
Trips. We go on all these motherfucking dinners. She's getting designer. She's getting just because flowers. She posting all this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, mad patient with her, never raised my voice at her. Like, you know, just like, I'm gonna need some pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna need something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need something. And that just wasn't the case. So, after a while, you know, I'm there masturbating 3 times a day, just trying to keep control of my demons. And I'm like, I at least need some kind of conversation or affection. And I most definitely started cheating. Most definitely. And that's something that I think people need to really, like, you really need to understand how important sex is to you specifically. And if it is that important and it's not happening, and you're talking to your mate and you're spicing it up, and you're renting them hotel rooms and them candles and that lingerie, and you're doing all the things, and years are going by, don't cheat. Just fucking leave. Like, blow your whole shit up. And it's worthwhile, because a woman is not going to fuck up your life if you seek someone else for intellectual stimulation. If you seek someone else for like you need a gym buddy or you need someone to talk stocks with, they're not gonna leave you over that. They're not gonna fuck your life up over that. But if you stick your dick in someone else, if you get some top, the top you're not getting at home from someone else, they're gonna fuck your life up. So that's the one thing I will say, like, pussy is extremely powerful in that regard, and no one gives a fuck about you. If you have a dick in court and you making that bag, you're fucking done, period. Like, end of story. So if the pussy ain't right, if the pussy ain't hitting right, if the head ain't right, if you're not satisfied like that going in, don't marry potential. Just because the woman saying she's into girls, that don't mean you about to have a menage, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like just because. Oh, here's another one. Goddamn.
Man, we going there.
Nigga. Oh my god. And you're gonna have to stop me. So basically, here's the deal with her anatomy. She is capable of multiple orgasms. Now, as a man, when you watch a woman get 3 to 4 orgasms per session, your brain is, your ego is fucking on top of the world. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yeah, nigga, I did that. Look at her. She can't go on. Over time, though, what you fail to realize is that you ain't none. And this is the norm. So you're mentally ejaculating. You feel me? Like, like you feel powerful because this woman is convulsing below you, but you're not nutting and you're never satisfied. So if you don't have a woman who can snatch your soul and takes pride in that shit, you in the wrong situation, bro. Like, you really might not be able to get that out of her. So this is your life now. This is your life. You ain't got no prenup. This is the only pussy you can get, bro.
Would you say, alright, so when you was cheating, was you like a compulsive cheater? Was you like a sloppy cheater? Like, what kind of like, was you getting caught left and right? What was going on?
I got caught one time. And I even the way I got caught was just like, it's almost like I wanted to get caught. I basically, so she got into this phase where she wanted to like scan all the receipts and like see if she could save money from some savings club or some shit. Like, you know, some women are really into the couponing kind of stuff, and this is just another version of it.
Yeah.
So I'm about to fly off to Cuba, and I hadn't slept the night before. I'm running around packing my bag. I got this photo shoot Cuba I'm about to head to, and we had it fucked in like 4 to 6 months. I can't remember what the actual number was. So I'm like, nigga, you about to go to Cuba? You shooting 17 models? You might get sloppy. Buy yourself some condoms. You know what I'm saying? Bought some condoms. Came home with the receipt. Rookie fucking move. And she was like, "Oh, can I see your receipt?" I'm at the edge of the bed, and I'm like, "Nigga, eat the receipt. Just eat it. Just eat the motherfucker." You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, nah, I'm gonna hand her this receipt. Maybe she won't see the condoms on it. That was the beginning of the end.
Woo!
That's when I got caught. And, you know, we did everything we could. We did the counseling. We did all that.
So you confessed that you've been cheating on her?
I confessed because, you know, I've been lying through omission all this time.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to lie to her in her face. I mean, there's different times where I've been at the studio, because I'm a photographer too. There's been times I've been at the studio, she'd never show up. That's another thing. Like, I don't know who's listening to this, but ladies, if your man has an interest, a hobby, a passion, show up. Like, don't be on some shit like, oh, that's his thing. Like, I don't really feel like coming out the house. I'm comfortable. You need to roll up in that studio every now and again, make your presence felt, because I was piping a lot at that studio. Anyway, one day, he pops up at the studio, and I'm like, my phone goes off. I'm literally inside something, and it's like, oh shit, like she's here. So the studio smells like pussy. So burn an L real quick, you know, get together, get my shit together. Shorty gets her shit together. I run to the front, let her in, and it's wild awkward. Like, we all just trying to make the shit seem cool. Like, what do you think's going on here at 10:45 p.m. with motherfucking candles lit in the studio, smell like pussy, and it's just us? But, you know, nothing ever came up. So I feel like on some level, she knew what was up.
Yeah.
But again, comfort. She ain't paying no bills. Every time she goes to leave the house to go out with her friends, I put a couple hundred in her hand, despite the fact that she has a debit card linked to my account, despite the fact that she has credit cards that I pay, and joint credit cards. I always put money in her pocket. So it's like she has this situation where she don't want to blow up her own life. So I feel like on some level she stuck her head in the sand.
Wow, yo, this story gets deep. So once you confess, like, there was no going back after that.
There was no going back, and we were trying to work on it. And you know, I got signed up for the counseling. We did all that shit, and that counseling was a total mindfuck for me too, because I have a female counselor and her, and it's basically like, it starts off as like, you're the villain, you fucked up. You're the villain, you fucked up. You're a horrible person. How could you do this? You fucked up. So you're just eating this guilt, right? And it got to the point where the counselor started to kind of back off of me, to kind of take her foot off my neck. And she pointed out something. She's like, speaking to my wife, she's like, you're stuck in a negative cycle. You're bringing up stuff that we've resolved already because you're not ready to forgive or move on from it. And what's going to happen is he's doing the work, right? Like, he is sorry, and he is trying to mend things, and he is doing the literal homework that I'm giving you guys, but you're not progressing, so you're not allowing these wounds to heal. So it's like the damage was done, and it doesn't matter if I want to save the marriage or not. If she's not psychologically capable of doing that, it's just not going to happen.
You think she was cheating? Also?
Again?
You think she was cheating also, or she ever cheated on you?
I'm going to put it like this. Most of the people I've discussed this with, either A said she was definitely fucking someone as well, or B says she's gay or bisexual and was either sleeping with a woman, or part of her lack of libido for me was her inability to, you know, dive deeper into her own sexuality. To me, it doesn't matter. Honestly, I hope she was fucking somebody for two reasons. One, I think everyone deserves to be happy. If I'm dating someone, if I'm married to someone, if there's a dick, a mouth or a pussy out there that can make you happier than I can make you, go get it. Please, for the love of God. I want you to be happy. Secondly, I feel far less guilty. So that last one is super selfish. If you was fucking somebody as well, you know?
Yeah, because you said at one point y'all wasn't fucking for 6 months. Like, you know, that's a long fucking time. You know, so
I mean, you know, it's wild. It's wild.
And she's into women, right?
So before we got married, she said she likes girls. So my thing is like, okay, that's something I could work with. Now, again, you don't marry the potential. You marry what's present. Because it's most likely that whatever you have at the point where you get married, you're going to have less in the marriage. So she's working this specific job. She might decide to stop working. She might decide to get a job that's not paying as much. She's super fit and you know, always active. She might decide that she wants to kind of lay back once she gets married. That's not every person. A lot of times people get married, they get a little comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Or like if she's fucking on a certain level and she has a certain libido, you're not guaranteed to keep that. So whatever you have in that honeymoon period before you get married, that don't mean that's what you're going to have after the fact. So definitely don't think you're about to get the potential you see. I thought I was going to be having menages. I at least thought I could be able to watch her do some shit and explore some shit of her own, and I'd be the shady, weird perv in the corner watching. None of that shit happened, bro. None of that happened. So, you know, just be easy on thinking you about to get more than you got before you got married.
You think she's just right now, this is all retaliation, she's out for blood and like there's more to come?
100%. Like, it's irrational. Like, I'm gonna give you some numbers right now. I inherited a building from some family. Family, you know, ended up getting into a predatory loan. You know, multiple 6 figures of debt. I was able to eat that debt and save the building and renovate and all this kind of stuff. Our son is supposed to get this building. I did a renovation peak COVID, and I bled financially for this building. The way she's coming at me every month, I'm trying not to lose this building because my son is supposed to get this building. This is his leg up, and this is my legacy. She don't give a fuck about that. Right now it's about blood. Everyone that I know, generation before me and this generation, did not go after their husband for money, did not try to destroy him financially. But the main thing, the main difference between the women I spoke to and my wife, soon to be ex-wife, is that these are career women with a certain level of pride, a certain level of self-confidence, a certain level of ambition. So in their mind, they're like, look, I have enough. I just need him to contribute to his child or his children. I don't need to earn off of this man. But with that other mindset, with that, like, I don't really want to work, then yeah, absolutely, I'm in his bag. This nigga owes me. Forget the fact that I ain't getting no pussy. Forget the fact that I don't, like, I literally had a conversation with her before the marriage. She asked me about how was the head. I was like, honestly, like, I appreciate you doing it, but I feel like it's a technique that I would prefer. Just technically. And I said it very respectfully. And she's like, well, what do you want? And I was like, well, I mean, I could tell you, like, this is kind of what I want, but I feel like in this day and age, if you want to learn something, you watch it. You want to learn how to, I don't know, paint a room or something, you go watch a YouTube video. You want to learn how to make a specific meal, you go watch a YouTube video. There's tons of porn out there. I'll tell you the porn that I like. Well, let's watch it together. The way she sucks dick, that's what I want. I didn't even get that far. I was like, yo, I could send you a video. She was completely distraught, disrespected. How dare you? I mean, it's like,
Yeah. So right now, right? It's this is intense. But let me ask you this: so, with the kid, when y'all have to swap, like, do y'all see each other in person, or you have somebody bring the kid around?
So at first, I had to see her on the pickup and the drop. Mm-hmm. But I was able to finagle that to where I could pick him up from daycare, so I don't only have to see her on the drop. because it's at that point where it's like, you know, I don't need to be in any situations where we need prolonged contact. So yeah, just on the drop on Sundays at noon, you know, she comes to the door, or her sister comes to the door, or somebody comes to the door, and I drop them off there.
Okay, so when you drop them off, y'all don't get in no contact at all.
No, like I used to come in the house, you know, kick it with him a while, kind of ease that transition. But now, so I used to pull up to the house and pull up in the driveway and drop him off or whatnot. But now what I do, and I think this is hilarious. So I actually park a block away, and by parking a block away, I have the time to let him orient himself to the neighborhood. Now that he's more verbal, he's like, "Oh, mama's house." Like he knows where he is. And then, like, he has an opportunity to kind of transition from me and know that he's about to go to his mother. And then we can talk. I can tell him I love him. I enjoyed the time I spent with him and all that kind of stuff. Walk him to the door, and then the transition's a little smoother. Apparently, for the first 30 minutes, he cries. And that's heartbreaking. And, like, you know, I don't know what to do about that, but it's like that connectivity between his mother and his father. He is aware, even at his young age, that it's not there. Recently, when I dropped him off, you know, she was sitting on the stoop outside, so I kind of carried him to her, and I put him down in front of her, and she's like, "Come here, Papa," and he's kind of just scowling at her. So there's this kind of like verbal thing I do. It's not a real word, but it's like this kind of like trigger for him. It's oi, right? Oi. Like I say oi, put the bass on it. He immediately corrects his behavior. So when he kind of was scowling at her and not hugging her, I said oi, and then he jumped into her arms. So we're trying to make the transition smoother, you know, just kind of think about this kid's psyche and what's best for him.
But y'all don't say shit to each other.
Vibe, but you know, the vibe is definitely not there.
But you and her don't say shit to each other.
No, like even in text, the texts are all 100% about our son. It's about potty training ritual and success. It's about, you know, if he's sick or he has a dental appointment, but like that is it, because there is nothing left to say. Like I got the shittiest text messages for the longest time. I don't know if she was intentionally doing it, but she was sending me these horrible messages and question anything I did, but you know, regarding child rearing, my son, raising my son, and any kind of decision I made, she would question. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it was just all this nastiness kind of resurfacing from the marriage. And I had to tell her at one point, like, "Yo, you need to stop. Like, I am paying to not hear this shit. Like, you need to look at who you've been in this relationship the entire time and the lack of contribution in any level that you've made. Cooking a couple meals a week, that ain't it. Doing a couple loads of laundry, that ain't it. Laying in your bed for pretty much the entire marriage on your phone, that ain't it. So it doesn't matter what you want from your person. If they haven't done their work to become a whole person and to show up in your marriage, there's nothing you can do. You can't make a woman happy. The woman has to be happy already. She gotta have her own shit figured out. She needs to know that she needs to take a bath with these motherfucking salts and these oils on Wednesdays and Sundays, or she needs to go for her run, or she needs to join a book club, or she needs to go to church, or she needs to finish her master's. She needs to figure out her happiness. You figure out your happiness, and then y'all can be happy together, because you're not pouring into a void. You feel me? Like,
yeah,
we gotta take responsibility as individuals for our happiness. Then we can come together and be a whole unit, versus like this symbiotic Frankenstein of an organism.
Let me ask you. So right now, right? You know, I get the clear picture from you that she's out for blood. Are you also out for blood? Are you angry? Are you trying to retaliate? Where's your energy at?
I'm beyond the hate phase. I've had enough time to go from villain to victim to villain to victim. I'm not out for blood, but I'm also not going to be quiet either. I know that, here's the thing, most stuff happens in silence. You know, like people don't make a lot of noise when they slip in their hand in your pocket and pull it out, or a cat, or they call it a cat burglar, not a King Kong gorilla burglar. So she would rather shit be real quiet while she fleeces me, essentially. So I made a couple posts. For instance, like I had to sell 4 cameras, a bunch of lights, a bunch of equipment, and while I'm cashing this in, and they give me the dollar amount, it's equal to 1 month of alimony and child support. So I posted a video where I filmed all the equipment and said, you know, basically like, yo, this is 1 month of alimony and child support. This is the cost of being the ambitious one in the relationship. I didn't tag her. I didn't go do all that shit, but I did post that. That's the angriest shit I've done. Let's not talk about dark thoughts, because find me a breadwinner going through a divorce, getting fleeced, and I'll tell you someone who's planned dark things. So you gotta kind of work past that stuff. You gotta process that and put your energy in the right direction, because shit does get really dark. Like, to really think about this. I'm used to a family. I'm used to being a husband with a wife and a child. And now I don't have a family. So I'm kind of left to stew in my own, you know, thoughts about this and literally think about how I'm going to lose my estate. How my credit's gonna be fucked up, how I'm gonna default on loans, default on a mortgage, lose my car, lose all the shit that I worked so hard for. Like, I make 5 times what I made when I started this shit. But when I started when we got married, I climbed. I took a lot of shit. I took a lot of racism. I took a lot of bullshit to climb, while she did not climb at all. And to know that you're about to lose all that shit, it fucks with your head. So I don't have hate for her, but at the very least, disdain, disappointment. You know, but that's my child's mother. So I gotta find some level of respectability. I gotta be cordial on some level for the sake of my child. But wasn't for my child, yeah. I mean, I have a whole lot more to say.
I feel you. Yo, let me ask you the last question, bro. First, I want to say I appreciate you for being very honest and being open. And, you know, as this continues, I would like to bring you on to, you know, speak about the development of the relationship court, because a lot of brothers can learn from everything that you're going through. You feel me? Because me just listening to you, I've been quiet, bro, because you've dropped so many fucking gems, and I just been listening, you know. So, you know, even with the bad that's happening, you know, somebody can gain from it. So I would like to bring you on. But my last question is, if you had anything to say to her right now, what would you say to her?
That's heavy. If I had anything, I would say enjoy. I would say just one word: enjoy. You know, because this is someone who has been brewing on this. This is someone who's defining themselves with this. This is her phoenix rising moment. You know, I saw her the day after her birthday with these long ass coffin nails, the type of shit that I would make my models, you know, get before a shoot. Living her best life, you know. So with my money. So all I can say is enjoy. Karma's a bitch. Karma has thrown me over her leg and spanked me, you know, and I'll take responsibility for whatever negative shit has happened to me. And if she's not approaching this in a balanced, pious way, especially with the high horse she's been riding on, she'll get hers too, or maybe she won't. So at the end of the day, enjoy. Yeah, like, I am going to get my assets back. The technology will be better when I get them back. And I haven't lost any of my skill. I haven't lost any of my creativity and my ability. So I'll be cool. Want her to enjoy.
Got you, bro. Yo, thank you for coming on. And I definitely would hit you up to get you on so we can have another conversation about this situation, man. But right now, man, thank you, and I'm gonna holler at you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate the invitation and the conversation, man. Y'all have a good one. Stay blessed.
You too, man. Peace, bro.
Peace.